Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to an honest review, our first short film reviewed on the channel. It's The Strange Thing About the Johnsons from 2011, Ari Aster's thesis film that he made at the Film Institute in California. So before Hereditary, before Midsommar, he decided to make a film about what, Kofi?
Well, it did take me a bit by surprise. So, like, listeners and watchers, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest going and watching it now. It's only half an hour long. It revolves around a family in which some sexual abuse happens. The son is the abuser and the father is the victim. Heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. The opening scene is just a kid having a wank. It's not, like, too weird, is it? It's not too weird, but the dad comes in and goes, "I'm sorry for catching you doing that. It's completely normal." And it seems like a good father-son relationship where he's like, "It's not weird. Everyone does it. Okay, thanks for the chat." And then the kid holds up the picture he was wanking to, and it's the dad.
What the fuck?
Just brought us right into the film, didn't it? No quicker way to jump right into it than a kid knocking one out over an image of his dad. By 6 minutes, we had the dad sucking the son off, while the mum caught them in the act and then just chose to ignore it, even though she was obviously quite emotional about it.
Yeah, this was mad.
It was fucking scary.
But I think that's the genius of this, right?
It actually is, yeah. He's flipped the entire, like, abuse narrative on its fucking head.
Like, throughout, you can almost feel like the damage and the trauma that's being caused because of abuse. You can see the manipulation at play, and then he tries to, like, point the blame at the dad as well and be like, well, it takes two of us. It's horrible to say, but probably what happens a lot of the time to kids that are being abused, right? It won't just be the physical abuse, it'll be the mental abuse that's also happening to make them complicit in it in some capacity. It's fucking horrendous, this film, but for the subject matter that's really raw, it's done, like, really well to almost shed light on such a disgraceful thing, right?
It's quite cleverly done at the start. It makes you think that the dad could potentially be the slightly suspect one, because he's a bit too cool with how he, like, takes the situation. Something in the background where it makes you think, yeah, something could be coming out of this. not that way.
It's usually coming into it, isn't it?
But then, like, a half a second, you see the photograph and the entire dynamic is just completely changed. Like, again, that's just masterful directing, really. And for half an hour, it gets a lot of shit covered. It didn't need to be any longer.
No. I think what Ari's done is skipped a hell of a lot of the growth in the issue for us to, like, decide ourselves. So you make your own conclusions about what's happened. Like, you could think that the kid was like, "Oh, Dad, I want to shag you."
To be fair, the dad does say to him, when he's doing it, right, the dad says to him, "We all do it, it's fine, it's normal," not knowing that it's obviously a picture of him, right? So in the kid's head, I guess he could be reaffirming that, like, oh, that's what people do, it's fine. But then obviously he becomes more, like, manipulative throughout, you know, as he grows into an adult, it then becomes a more abusive thing than just being a bit of a strange child that's clearly misplacing his horniness. The one that's weird is when he's getting married and they're taking a photo behind everyone's back. He just grabs his dad's ass. Cops a cheeky little feel of his dad.
And then one later on as well, like, he necks on with, like, his wife, and he's just making full eye contact with his dad while doing it.
It's too
Bizarre,
much, but
man.
it's just enough.
But there's also, like, weird moments, like when they're at the dinner table and the mum offers him beer and he's like, "Well, I bought them for my dad. That, like, you can't have one of them, they're for my dad." The dad offers one to the mum and he's, like, visibly wound up by it, isn't he? That, like,
Yeah.
how dare the mum have one of the dad's beers? And then he starts playing footsie with him under the table.
Yeah.
It's just like this weird control thing as well. He's almost, like, jealous of his dad having relationships with other people and then abuses him because of it.
It gets to some fucking dark, horrible shit. Like, even worse than what we spoke about so far. The bath scene, which we thankfully don't see, but the implication is enough to get the point across. Effectively raping his dad in the bath.
The emotion bit there is, like, the mum hearing the screams of the dad, turning the telly up to, like, mask the noise that she's having to listen to, and basically being complicit in it, in the sense that, you know, rather than her going against her son, she just allows it, which, again, I guess when this happens in real life, but you know, with adults abusing children, that probably happens a lot of the time where, you know, mums of kids know what's going on but just don't really want to deal with it because they'd rather pretend it's not happening. And it's hard to watch, right? Like, this makes it really hard to watch.
Hard.
Because you know this shit is real. But as I said earlier, it's so well done to kind of show you how savage this is in a way that is acceptable to show you.
The dad, anyway, a horrible end to his life. He's written his memoirs. Cocoon Man is the name of his piece. Yeah, his son finds a copy of Cocoon Man because he's like left it on his wife's bed for her to get and read, and he's, I assume, just gonna run away and maybe kill himself, who knows. But the son's like, nope, fucking my mum's not gonna read that, dickhead, and if any of these copies of this get out in the world ever, then you're gonna fucking pay for it.
When he gives it to the mum, though, it's how he's written a note on it that says forgive me, like he's he's the problem. But yeah, he gets fucking hit by that car, doesn't he? Jeez.
Yeah, it's mad here though, because the funeral happens and then the mother walks in on the son dressed up in his dad's fucking clothes.
It's like the only part of the film I laughed at because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on. He looks like he's gonna go play golf.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the mum asks, like, where did this relationship start? Like, when did it start?
That, is it? She goes, why was your dad crying after prom? Like, what?
Oh, yeah, she does mention the prom night, yes. We don't see anything about prom night in the film, though, do we?
No, it's just the idea of it. It's like, it's brilliant just for him to bring that up, to make you think, like, what actually happened, but you don't know. You don't find out anything.
It's like adding, like, extra story to the background of those characters without having to actually show it. It's just talk about it. And then the son and the mother get into a fight.
Oh, Deontay Wilder over here, fucking left hook, bam, have that bitch.
Kicks the shit out of him. Like, what the fuck? And the mother ends up fucking stabbing him. After he's dead, the mother grabs Cocoon Man, throws it on the fire, burning all the evidence of everything that's happened in the past. And fucking hell, that's a note to end on, isn't it?
And then lets out all the pain, doesn't she? She just stands there, letting it all out, and it's fucking emotional. You can just, like, again, it's done really well, where you can just feel like the anguish that's pouring out of her at that moment because she's lost her son, and then, you know, her marriage has ended like that. It's fucking horrendous, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ari directs emotion really well.
Grief.
He manages grief really well. And that is the strange thing about the Johnsons. I can see exactly why Aster got picked up to do feature lengths after this, because it's a damn good short film, but for all the reasons that you don't naturally want to say. Like, it's fucked up and it's cruel and it's odd, but that's exactly what it's intended to be, and show an element of life that most people don't talk about.
That's what the film's for, really, isn't it? It's blurring the lines. Unexpected greatness, because you watch it and you're like, why am I actually watching this? But Ari grabs darkness from the world and then puts it in a film and makes you feel uncomfortable so that you see more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And boys, although I'm the one that usually takes the piss all the way through these kind of things, I want to end by saying that if you are in a situation like this, or you know someone that's in a situation like this, then you should dial 999 immediately, or contact someone like NSPCC, who can be contacted on 0808 800 5000 or ChildLine on 0800 1111. Please don't ever suffer in silence or let someone else suffer in silence.
Yep, and all the details for those contacts will be in the description down below as well. But for this week's Friday Fright Time, that was 2011's The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Hope you enjoyed that one. Stay safe, everyone. Cheers for watching.